Hey everybody, this is a grumpy old guy gaming, and we are back with more Wizardry, Tale of the Forsaken Land. Got a fairly solid foundation of trust here. Oh, look at that. Somewhere along the way, Daniel's evil alignment switched to good. So now we're a bunch of goody two-shoes with a couple neutral party members added in there. And we ranked up a good bit of trust. We got Keo up to level 13 and Sarah all the way to level 14. Still hunting a Hound's ear, still looking for one of our party members to get dropped and then fail the resurrection attempt so we can have Maria, the bishop in training, revive them from their ashes. And we're looking for someone who looks a lot like a guy named Palo, who's apparently haunting their dreams and is somewhere in the labyrinth. Whether that's specifically in the third floor labyrinth or whether that's just somewhere in the labyrinth of Duhan, I really don't remember. That may have been one of the quests I never actually finished. Fun fact, I've never 100% beaten this game. I've beaten it twice before, but I've always left a couple quests outstanding. And once you finish the storyline, any quests you don't complete, you can't finish them. So my goal is to get all quests finished before finishing up the story. Here against a bogey cat, there's just nothing to this. We're not worried at all about the bogey cat. Daniel takes it down in one attack. Technically 2 hits, but... At this point, battles on the first floor are just kind of a nuisance. And I really do wonder why I even came this way. Sorry about that, folks. Completely forgot about the shortcut. By now, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with me having my moments. This was another one, where I completely forgot we had a better shortcut to take. Nothing to this battle at all. Couple rogues and a pixie. There you saw 46 quality damage, and they fall like sacks of flour. I wonder who came up with that term. Like, who was just dropping sacks of flour and said, you know what? That's a pretty useful saying. Seems we're just going after combat here on the first floor. Yeah, let's go ahead and rush. It's not gonna hurt us. Bogey cat's in the back row, it won't be able to attack this round anyway. In fact, let's rush again. 92 damage should be more than enough to stop it. And there you go. Bogey cat down. Party effort there. Again, it's really not worth skipping those battles unless you have your trust rating maxed out. Although there is something to be said about the time saved not having to deal with this. Let Daniel just hack this rogue up. One slice, that's all it takes. Third chest to the first level. Maybe more thief's blood? Yep. So we'll at least have some spells to make by the end of it. Okay, now we're making a little headway. Certainly took us long enough, didn't it? Looks like we've got one more battle. Wow, these guys are not kidding around. Rui and Kyo taking out the slimes there. Just no love lost for them. And then the end lash just bludgeoning that poor bogey cat. Getting some fur and some slimes goo out of it at least. And now it's time to make our way to the 5th floor. Took long enough, didn't it? Down the stairs we go to the waterfall. Well, looks like we're in a battle. Sidestepped the gaze hounds and wound up with some mages and gargoyles. First proper combat. Let's do an end lash. And what else do we want to try here? Let's do a restricted shot. Protecting Daniel and Ricardo. Sneak Kyo back to attack a mage. And have Rui play insurance policy for the second mage. Do believe Ricardo's going to one-shot it though. Yep. Rui instead decides to chuck a dagger at the middle gargoyle, who then gets caught with the restrict shot. So we've at least put a little damage on everything here. Daniel seems to be a very popular target for these gargoyles. All three coming right after him. Okay. Set up that restrict shot again. Move to a double slash with Daniel and Ricardo. And let Kyo and Rui start working over the gargoyle on the left end here. Sure enough, Kyo finishes the job. See if the double slash will follow suit. It will, and all of a sudden we're down to one gargoyle who's feeling kinda lonely from the looks of it. Doesn't really move or anything. We'll change our restrict shot up, make it an assisted shot. Actually getting a nice bit of damage out of that. That was 18 damage by all three of the back row participants. Picking up a cool 2,000 experience there. A little bit over, but you know. And we pick up a cloak. Already into, actually a good bit into Daniel's inventory on the items. Let's find out what this cloak is. Just a cloak. Nothing special. Quite the opposite, actually. Here's something that has the potential to be very special to us. It's a gaze hound. Again, we're still looking for that hound's ear, so fingers crossed. Maybe this is the time. You never know. Let's go with the jump attack with Ricardo this time. And we'll have Daniel and Kyo do a double slash. On the off chance that their death strike should hit, give us 4 chances at it. Slightly increased damage from them anyway, just for the double slash. Rui starts things off with a solid 9. Kyo missed on his second attack, that's going to sting. Daniel takes a ton of damage there. Ricardo launched in the air. And down he comes. 65 damage. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and keep Daniel alive. I think a Kyo and Ricardo double slash should more than finish this. Daniel and Rui getting their shots in first. And yeah. That classic combination, just too much damage for the Gaze Hound. Which in all fairness was already pretty injured. No chest though, so we continue our search. Have a Gog cast a feel spell while we're out of combat here. Get Daniel back in ship shape. Ha. Juked that either giant or ninja right out of their shoes. Seems like we've found another Gaze Hound. And again, planning a solid defensive strategy here. Not that we really needed it. Death Strike from Kyo and the rest of that double slash is sort of academic. Got a chest here, let's pop it open, see what we get. Hey, it's a Hound's Ear! We finally got a Hound's Ear. Could take that back, get our quest turned in, but let's do a bit more poking around first. I will make sure to leave ample time, and if not, I will make sure to edit a couple things to make it look like I left ample time. That's the beauty of me doing an upload as opposed to a live stream. One thing we definitely don't have time for is more spiders than I care to look at. So we're going to take this very nice and simple. We're going to have the front row do a sweep attack. And then we'll have the casters rain fiery magical doom down upon the spiders. I don't really care that much about spiders, they don't creep me out or anything, but my goodness is Poison Breath a pain. So we're gonna throw Jakrita out there. See what Rui has to offer. She could cast Jakrita, make that 2. And just in case we haven't made ourselves clear enough, we'll have Sarah throw an Amok out there. We'll target the back row with that, because the front row should be pretty well toast if we even get to Sarah's initiative count. Rui's gonna kick things off here by getting the party started. Little bit of fire thrown. Things getting kinda toasty on the monster's side of the screen. And I guess that saves a good deal of spell economy. One spell does the trick. 5,000 experience thanks to our thief knowing arcane spells. Probably pick up a cocoon out of this. Yep. All those spiders, we got 1 cocoon. I'd feel bad, but we did probably torch the rest. Says we could jump down from there. Hadn't thought of doing that previously, and here we are. Run into a girl who says, we need to rest. And then a young man who says, are you serious, Michelle? You would call this disgusting place our home. This dump is full of beasts such as orcs and kobolds. The girl elf whom you had met previously was talking with someone. Michelle says, Kaza, you understand too, don't you? Since we lost our forest, no one has the will to live, and some have taken their own lives. She continues, and even our leader Fawn has lost his sight from this despair. We should be more concerned with ourselves than about the Flash. So there seems to be a pretty serious discussion concerning these two. And they seem to have noticed us, probably because we just jumped down a giant pit. Michelle goes, "Oh, you're..." The young man who is called Kaza turned around slowly. Now, Michelle was the one who gave us the magic crossbow and the thunder cloak way back in the jail to help us in our initial encounter against the Reaper. Kaza apparently has some fiery red eyes, and they widened with shock. He's also got a hell of a mace there. He goes, "What? Why are you?" He was speechless. He stared without even blinking. His eyes were filled with confusion. And fire, from what I've read. Is this the work of the demons? Or has his visage been etched into my eyes by the flame of my hate? You know, it seems the deeper we go, the less people like us. Michelle goes, "No, Agog is still alive." He goes, "What do you mean alive? A ghost would have been better." "If so, I could accept that he came back to finish something undone." Michelle goes, "But I'm sure that Sophia is glad that at least he was saved." Kaza reacted to those words. He says, "Yes, I'm certain that she's glad too. That's the kind of person she was. More reason for me not to forgive him is the mere fact that now she is dead and he's still alive." So Sophia was the healer of the Queen's Guard, and they're speaking very definitely as though they know she died, and it is somehow related to us. Kaza exploded with rage that he held back all this time. He goes, "Why didn't you come to our forest after the Flash? Could you not even be troubled to bring flowers to her grave? Are you deaf to the wails of the souls of those who lost their loved ones? This may not be our real forest, yet how dare you step into our land once more?" "The elves do not like us," Michelle says. "Please forgive him." Kaza got upset because he loved Sophia like a sister since childhood. Of course, I am just as saddened, but the Sophia in my memory holds no grudge towards you for some reason. Michelle fell silent and looked towards the lake. She says, "Sophia used to love the view from here. Above ground, this place is but a faded dream, but it can always be seen in this accursed labyrinth. It's alright if you can't remember it now, but please, for her sake, do remember that there was someone who loved you most dearly." So apparently Sophia was very close with us, and they're dead, and we don't know anything about anything on this. Got ourselves into this little area. Right over there is... and there's a chest over there now. There's a pit we can drop down, but I really do want to explore a bit more of this area first. Making our way here in the corner, and we're stuck. It says you tried to move forward, but something stopped you. As if beckoned by the sound of the spring, you drifted off. Now we're moving, and we've stopped again. Says, when you stood at the edge, the water splashed onto your face. We hear a voice calling Agog. Oh, Agog. I'm sure it sounds better than that. Not a voice actor. A gentle voice and the sound of the water blended together and echoed. and we trigger another flashback. This girl elf, I'm assuming it's Sophia, says, Agog, your eyes are like a winter lake, cold, frozen, uninviting. But listen, Agog, below, the ice is waiting to be released, to become free. Waiting to reflect the sky under the bright, warm sun. So, someday, the ice within you will melt away. Then when that time comes, let us reflect on that beautiful sky of Arduhan, you and me, together. Now she's smiling and her ears just perked up like a dog who heard a car door close. Weird reaction there, but I guess if you have elf ears, they allow a bit more expressive animation. No, that doesn't check out, but we've got it nonetheless. She says, promise me. So yeah, turns out we were pretty close with Sophia. You reached out as if trying to grasp the vanishing mirage. A joy that made you want to cry and a despair that made you want to laugh stung your heart for some reason. Someone says, Sophia. It's Michelle again. Young elf came running over. She put her hands out to the spring where the illusion disappeared. Wait, Sophia, please tell me. Even after being torn away from your love, being cursed with death, how can you stay so strong? I want to see you once more. After saying that, Michelle looked down sadly and then gazed at you. Michelle says, if that flash had been brought upon us by God's anger, it would be so much easier for us. All we would have to do is rue him, and then someday the merciful Lord will recover from what ailed his heart. But our hearts will never recover from our sorrow because of the flash that has fallen upon us. Michelle looked down as if she were in fear. Her face was pale and her lips trembled. She goes, that flash, it was the doing of a human. The same goes for the black spirit that you call the Reaper. Of course, nowadays, so few are aware of its existence. But I have no doubt it had been created through the elves' traditional rite of darkness. It is one of the ancient knowledges that we could not abandon for the sake of our silly pride. Someone with a malevolent heart must have abused it. But for it, we are guilty for all eternity. Michelle became dispirited. This was a painful confession for her to make. Also explains why she felt so beholden to help us on the second floor. And that's about the only explanation we've gotten thus far. The elves were a proud race, and they would never admit to any mistakes they may have made. You must be wondering why I am telling you this. It is because I want to trust you the way Sophia had trusted you. So, even if I were hated because of that sin, I just wanted you to know the truth. Will you allow me to see what will become of this tragedy? I will go back to the town. If you will allow me to join you, please come to the tavern. So Michelle has been registered. And we learned her allied action, the spell shell. Time for a little powwow with our party. Sarah says, I've heard about the elves' ancient city of magic before. They say that most of the spells known to us come from there. Its powers could defy even death, and the civilization had the ability to realign the stars. It's also said that our myth of Eden is actually about the city of the elves. Nobody knows why such an amazing civilization vanished. Some say they were punished by heaven for indulging in the black arts. Sarah frowned and concentrated, trying to sort out everything she knew. she says, but the truth about who caused the flash comes as quite a surprise. This would mean that the Flash and the Reaper were both born of those ancient methods, but who? For what purpose? Those would be the biggest questions, right? I guess that's the reason for the elves always being so arrogant. Ricardo chimes in, because of the Flash, a lot of friends and people I knew died. My parents were already dead, so they never saw the Flash. But guys I knew from when I was a kid, and folks I saw every day, I lost them all. Ricardo looked downcast. The faces of those who had died raced through his mind. Says, I didn't believe that God caused the Flash like everyone was saying. I just thought it was something inevitable, like a natural disaster. But maybe it's just that I wanted to believe that someone could want that. Kyo says it's true there was something odd about the Flash. It was far too big to be a spell, but too evil to be even God's will. That girl elf said that someone caused it to happen, but I still can't believe it. How is it possible to completely reduce a town to ashes? But most of all, Kyo continues, I can't believe that anyone was insane enough to actually do it. Saying that, Kyo scowled. Whatever the reason, whoever did it should never be forgiven. We must find that person soon and make them pay for their sin. Now it's Rui's turn. She goes, the elves' treasures are so rare that they would make thieves drool. Particularly, ancient relics so extraordinary that they're priceless. You can buy an entire kingdom with what it's worth, because if even one were to be made public, magic as we know it would be changed forever. But as far as I know, there shouldn't be anything that's been taken in the past few years. If something had been taken, there's no way I wouldn't have heard about it. Daniel says, Grandpa used to tell me a long time ago that I should never go after any elves' treasures. He used to say it all the time. Said that there's a terrible curse on the elves' treasures, bring misfortune not only to the one who touches them, but everyone in the world. Kinda like that flash that struck us all. So anybody who would try to take something like that must be one heck of a crazy fool if you ask me. Wound up with quite a bit to think about here, and more questions than answers, which seems to be the way this goes. Now just a single row of spiders of all of our varieties, red, green, and yellow, going from giant to huge. We'll try a sweep attack with the front row, and we will do individual actions with our casters. We'll tone it down a bit, because we don't have to worry about all of the spiders. We've only got one row, and we already know that we're getting a fair amount of damage from that line attack. Let's go with Zatiel. And a second Zatiel from Rui. That should be more than enough. We'll have Sarah defend. Rui will actually start things off thanks to that insanely high initiative count. And she actually takes out a couple spiders on her Zatiel. Line attack hits for solid 45, she just leaves one spider remaining. And barring a barrier or a rather serious fumble, Agog should have that one down. Sure enough, 32 damage, enough to finish the job. Bit more experience our way, and a chest. There's a Delpis stone. We're gonna hold on to that one. And we've made our way to this chest, which is undoubtedly trapped. See a nice little lock on it, good details. Time to call on our specialist Rui, although I guess we have Daniel as well. One sorcerer turned thief and another thief turned samurai. We have a lock and poison gas. Will we try and open it? Why, yes we will. Nice and simple there. And what have we inside? There's a gauntlet. Go ahead and hand this gauntlet over to Agog and see what all the fuss is about. It's a demon's gauntlet, made by a known sorcerer with the aid of a demon's power, allows the change of attribute to evil. Don't think this is, well, actually I was gonna say, I don't think this will help anything. But, seems to be a rather decent little upgrade defensively for Ricardo. So we'll go ahead and equip that. Remember, you'd have to release its power for the alignment change. On its own, it's just a gauntlet. See if we can sidestep there. And we have another trap chest right down here. Let's check that out. Once again, queuing up Rui. A lock and dark fog. Took a little extra time to make sure I didn't overpress any of the buttons. And there's an antidote vellum. Yay, vellums. We could take that to town and then never get the correct ingredients for it, as it should be. So again, that's the pit we came down. There's this channel here. What's back here? Ah, there's our stairs down to the next level. But before we do that, let's go ahead and jump down this pit here. Find out what we got. Is that just our way back? Yep. Yeah, that was that hole in the ground. Probably not the smartest way of me doing things, and now we have to contend with a couple wyverns. How do we want to go about this? Probably an assisted shot. Let's do a double slash and have Kyo attack the other wyvern. Wow, complete miss on the assisted shot. Kyo bailing it out there with a petrification, though. Saw the old stone wyvern. And yeah, that second wyvern takes the full brunt of the double slash. No chance of surviving there. Got one more gaze hound to deal with. And let's see what can be done about that. Good start to the action. Kyo and Ricardo hitting on a quality double slash. Rui and Daniel adding in their bit. Gaze, the glare attack from the Gaze Hound works on Sarah, so she's out of commission for this round. Safe to say that's not our biggest problem in the world. We'll just change the restrict shot to Agog and Rui protecting Daniel and Ricardo. It'll still free up Daniel for a solo attack if need be. And that was a pretty clear sign that it was never needed. Had a kill shot and more than enough damage to finish the job. So yeah, jumping down that pit there takes us to this side of the old deal. We did have a chest here, so that's worth looking at. Go ahead and have Rui try. It's a trap chest with a dark fog trap set. Probably the most complex configuration we've had yet, and lo and behold, it's another gauntlet. Hand that over to Agog. been getting some good stuff today. Treasure has been generous. That one's just a gauntlet. Not really going to help anyone on our back row. Pretty sure everyone on the front row has at least a steel gauntlet. So yeah, not much can be done with that. Gonna head up a little, see if we could jump down that hole again, and maybe check out level 6 a bit before calling it a session. I do want to hit town again and at least finish Helga's quest, so we may be heading back on the soonish side. Yeah, Ricardo and Kyo on the double slash. Do the restrict shot, and then have Daniel and Rui just attack of their own volition. Just have them go at it. Big critical from Ricardo. And Daniel finishes the job. A one-rounder with no kill shot and no petrification. Now the gaze hounds are child's play to us. Always happy to see that. Especially since we've got another one to deal with. Kinda got a little lost in my head, went the wrong direction, and coming back, here we have another one to deal with, so gonna go ahead, line things up the same, and hope for another big result. Well, nothing crazy out of that, but still got a couple hundred damage in. This time the glare doesn't have anybody stupefied. So we'll go ahead with our typical alignment. And that will be enough to get us through. Just ticking down. Nobody's super close to leveling at this point. Kind of feel like we've... Oh, now we're just getting Hound's ears in abundance. Took us like a month to get one, and now we can't get rid of them. So yeah, we'll drop down here. And briefly check out the 6th floor. Once I remember where the heck I'm going. Just sort of milling around at this point, honestly. I feel like there's something here that I'm forgetting, and it's gonna pretty well stay forgotten, at least for the time being. Floor number 6. The Moldy Fort. That just sounds encouraging, doesn't it? Take one step in, it sounds like a toilet's flushing above us. Says fog covered the ground like a cloth. Somewhere in the distance, you could smell the stench of bodies. Aren't you so glad we left the 5th floor now? Says something is going on in the labyrinth. Voice says you've been completely subdued. It's a female knight, she goes. I didn't expect to find adventurers this deep in the labyrinth. How do you do? My name is Grace. Duhan soldiers are all throughout the labyrinth. I heard that it was a plan to catch the Queen's abductor, Sir Eugene, but why would he do it? Do you think it has to do with demons? I only ask this because there is a rumor that he has a contract with a demon. I must meet him and find out if his true intentions. If you see Eugene... No, never mind. I shouldn't involve you in this. Grace bowed slightly and went on her way. Time for another powwow with the party. Ricardo says, What a creepy place this is. It's like a ghost town. as if a war or plague just wiped out everyone in town. Ricardo frowned and looked around. Says, plus this humidity and the smell of mold, it's gonna drive me crazy. Sarah says, don't you feel the evil getting stronger? Since I came down here, I've been feeling sick. It's been a minute. Like my head is all cloudy or something. I just feel countless malicious and evil forces following me. It's kinda like when the Reaper came out on the second floor. It seems to make everything I see turn grayish. In the distance, you heard explosions and the screams of soldiers in battle. The ground beneath you trembled. Kyo says if the rumor is true, then those are the Duhan soldiers and Sir Eugene fighting. We still don't know why he would kidnap the Queen, but this air is not natural. Something must have happened here. That girl talked about a contract with a demon and all. If things get any worse, I think Eugene might even call out the demon. We don't know what's up ahead, so we've got to be careful from now on. Indeed we do. Gonna walk over, check out this cozy little treasure chest, and you see a skeleton of a man who is having a very bad day. We've got to get a close-up of that before we go. Have Rui take a look. A lock and a teleporter. Let's go ahead and open. Make it through. And it's an unidentified mace. Of course, no good weapon can go unidentified. So let's appraise that sucker. It's a crushing mace. Strengthened by a spell, its power can render enemies unconscious at times and enables to kill the undead. I just don't know, like, it's a magic weapon, and that would help Daniel against the undead, but the katana is just overall so much more useful. So yeah, there you go, skeleton. Got a spear through the eye, and through the mouth, and another one through his ribs. One thing we could say about that guy, he's dead. Whatever killed him was among those three, I would assume. And if not, somebody went a very long way to make a point. Looks like we've got another chest in this room. Gotta grab that. I mean, it's just sitting right there. Just the locked chest. And it's battle axe. Can't very well have a battle axe sit around for no reason, can we? Let's go ahead and praise that sucker. Liking that damage rating, 31 to 45. It is a faithless battle axe, however. It is a cursed item. Belonged to an abandoned warrior whose comrades left him for dead. It decreases trust. Definitely not giving that to anyone, but that'll sell. That'll make us some money back in town. So yeah, we're getting a little preview here of the 6th floor, which we will be exploring in greater detail in the uploads to come. Grab one more treasure chest here. Just randomly came upon it, so why not, right? Another lock and teleporter. Keeping our streak alive, 100% on these traps thus far. And we pick up a crossbow. Maybe something of a magical persuasion, maybe something with some incredible damage attached to it. Let's find out. It's a wishing crossbow. Says restores hit points when used during battle. Allows the attribute change to neutral and can be used by the back row. That is a pretty amazing crossbow. Let's go ahead and hand that over to Rui. She's been sitting there with that poison throwing knife the whole time. Equip that. She's gonna lose her metal shield. We're okay with that. Getting her all the way up to 39 attack. All of a sudden the leader of the back row, as far as damage goes. On that note, we are going to transfer back to town and finish up Helga's quest here for the Hound's Ear. At least give her the Hound's Ear, I should say that. Into the Luna Light we go. Helga says, "Ah, there you are. I figured it was about time you guys came back. I just got here too." She goes, "You got it, didn't you? A Hound's Ear?" Before you can even take it out, Helga snatches the bag from you. I mean, that's fair. We sort of have ransacked her room a couple times. Helga goes, "This is it, a Hound's Ear. Ah, it's so fluffy. How cute." It's the severed ear of a gaze hound. Just, gonna let that sink in there for a second. There are literally 4 hearts on the screen describing a bloody severed ear. But I guess everyone's got a thing. She goes, "Now's not the time for that. I feel sorry for it, but I can't sacrifice my plans to get rich. When I become rich, I'll make a grave for that poor hound." Well, she likes dogs, even if they're giant and monstrous. Helga says, "I gotta get going. You can stop by my room if you want. Bye-bye." So, as the previous quest, the finish to it will be back at Helga's room in the labyrinth. We'll check that out next week on stream. We pick up a combo mace and 5,000 experience. We'll also be able to pick up a quest here. We'll do that next week as well. First things first, I do want to check out the combo mace and see if it's a better fit for Ricardo. Says, a blade is attached at the end. It lacks beauty but excels offensively and enables to kill undead. It's only 1 hit though. 1 hit, 15 damage. Basically the same thing as the crushing mace. Yeah, I guess we'll sell those both off. Well, a heck of a round we had here. A whole bunch of things accomplished. Found our way to level 6, found a Hound's Ear, got that quest rolling, got a whole bunch of new questions, and finally, a little more insight into our past. This has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming. Hopefully you enjoy this. Take care, and we'll see you around.